Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that your bank account had lost $1,440. Most people would panic. They would check their banking app, call their bank, look for fraudulent charges. They would do everything they could to figure out where their money went. Now imagine something else. Imagine that every morning, life deposits something even more valuable into your account. Not dollars, not coins, but 1,440 minutes. Every single day, every one of us receives the exact same deposit. No one gets more, no one gets less. The wealthiest person in the world receives the same 24 hours as someone just beginning their journey. The difference is never how much time we're given. The difference is how we choose to invest it. Because unlike money, unused time doesn't stay in your account. By midnight, whatever you didn't invest disappears forever. There are no refunds, no rollover, no second chances. Tomorrow, you'll receive another 1,440 minutes. But you'll never receive today's minutes again. That is why time is your most valuable currency. Not because it's limited, but because once it's gone forever. Welcome to Mindset, Momentum, and Intention. If you're new here, this channel is dedicated to growth, abundance, positivity, and helping you become the best version of yourself. And today marks the beginning of something special. This is the first episode of the Time Advantage series. This isn't a series about becoming busier. It's not about filling every minute of your day with work or chasing productivity for the sake of productivity. It's about becoming more intentional. Over the next several videos, we're going to explore how the way you think about time shapes every area of your life. Your habits, your relationships, your goals, your peace, your purpose, and ultimately, your future. Because everything begins with one simple realization. Time isn't something you spend, it's something you invest. Most of us grow up learning how to manage money. We're taught to save it, budget it, protect it, invest it wisely. But very few of us are ever thought to value our time the same way. Isn't that interesting? We hesitate before spending $50 on something we don't need. Yet, we'll spend 3 hours scrolling through our phones without thinking twice. We'll carefully compare prices before making a purchase, but rarely stop to ask, is this worth my time? Somehow, we've convinced ourselves that money is our most precious resource. But money can return. You can lose your job and find another. You can lose an investment and rebuild. You can recover financially. Time doesn't work that way. Every minute that passes becomes part of your past. It can never be recovered. Think about that for a moment. Every minute you spend worrying about a future that hasn't happened, every minute you spend replaying a mistake you cannot change, every minute you spend comparing your life to someone else's, every minute you spend wanting for or waiting for the perfect moment, those minutes quietly become hours. Hours become days. Days become years, and before we know it, we're wondering where our life went. The greatest tragedy isn't running out of money. It's reaching the end of your life wondering where all the time disappeared. I remember hearing someone say, the way you spend your days is the way you spend your life. At first, it sounded simple, but the longer I thought about it, the more profound it became. Because our lives aren't built in decades, they're built in ordinary Tuesdays, quiet Wednesday mornings, small decisions made when no one is watching. Life isn't changed by one extraordinary day. It's shaped by thousands of ordinary ones. And that's both humbling and incredibly hopeful. Because it means your future isn't determined by one big decision. It's determined by the small choices you make today. Here's something else to consider. Most people don't intentionally waste their lives. They simply assume they have more time. We live as though tomorrow has been promised. I'll start next week. I'll exercise next month. I'll call my parents when things slow down. I'll chase that dream someday. But Sunday isn't a day on the calendar. Someday quietly becomes never. Not because people lack potential, but because they believe they'll always have another chance. The truth is, none of us know how many tomorrows we've been given. And strangely enough, that isn't meant to frighten us, it's meant to wake us up. Because when we realize time is limited, we begin treating it differently. We become more present, more grateful, more intentional. We stop waiting for life to begin and realize life has already begun. I'd like for you to imagine something. Picture yourself many years from now. Imagine you're 80 years old, you're sitting quietly on a porch or beside a window, looking back over your life. You won't remember every email you answered, every meeting you attended, every television show you watched, every hour you spent scrolling through social media. Those moments will blur together, but you'll remember the people you loved, the conversations that changed your life, the mornings you chose growth instead of comfort, the books that opened your mind, the risks you finally decided were worth taking, the laughter, the lessons, the memories you created. Because time doesn't simply pass, it becomes your life story. And every decision you make today, it's another sentence being written. I'd like to leave you with a question. If someone looked at your calendar, your screen time, and the way you've spent the last 30 days, what would they say matters most to you? Not based on your words, but based on where your time actually went. Because time tells the truth. It reveals our priorities more honestly than our intentions ever can. And sometimes that's exactly the perspective we need. If you've made it this far, I want to ask you one simple question. What if the life you've been hoping for isn't waiting for you years from now? What if it's being created by the way you spend today? That's the power of time. It doesn't usually transform our lives all at once. It transforms them quietly, one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one ordinary day at a time. The challenge is that we often underestimate what small investments can become. We think 1 hour doesn't matter, one walk won't change our health, one chapter won't make us wiser, one difficult conversation won't strain our relationship, one day of discipline won't change our future. And on their own, those things may seem insignificant, but life isn't changed by what we do once. It's changed by what we choose consistently. Imagine reading for just 1 hour every day. By the end of the year, you've likely finished dozens of books. Books that challenge your thinking, expand your perspective, teach you skills, introduce ideas that can reshape your future. Now imagine walking for 1 hour each day. Those walks become hundreds of miles. A healthier body, a clearer mind, less stress, more energy. Imagine spending one uninterrupted hour each day learning a new skill, whether it's writing, photography, public speaking, a new language, or building a business. Those hours begin to compound, slowly at first, then faster than you ever imagined. The results don't appear overnight, but one day, people look at your success and call it talent. They never see the ordinary hours that made it possible. Great lives aren't built through giant leaps. They're built through ordinary hours. Repeat it consistently. This brings us to a powerful idea that quietly shapes every decision we make. It's called opportunity cost. Every time you say yes to one thing, you're automatically saying no to something else. Say yes to another hour of mindless scrolling. And you might be saying no to learning a new skill. Say yes to procrastination, and you might be saying no to the future you're hoping to create. Say yes to constant distraction, and you might be saying no to your peace. The truth is, every choice carries a hidden price, not always in money, but often in time. And time is the one thing you can never earn back. That's why successful people don't just protect their money, they protect their attention, because attention determines where your time goes. And where time goes, your life follows. Think about the people who inspire you. Maybe someone who built a meaningful career, someone who overcame incredible obstacles, someone who created a loving family, someone who became healthier, or someone who simply lives with purpose. They weren't given extra hours. They were given the same 24 hours you and I receive every day. The difference wasn't time itself. It was how they chose to use it. They understood something many people overlook. Small decisions become habits. Habits become character. Character shapes destiny. And it all begins with how we spend today. There's another misconception I think we need to let go of. Many people say, I don't have enough time. But often, that's not the real problem. The real question is, what deserves my time? That question changes everything. Because once you begin asking it, your priorities become clearer. You become more intentional with your mornings, more present with the people you love, more protective of your attention, more willing to say no to things that don't align with the life you're trying to build. You stop filling your calendar and start feeling your life. Your mindset determines how you value time. Your intentions determine where you invest it. And your momentum is built one decision at a time. That's why this channel is called Mindset, Momentum, and Intention. These aren't just words, they're a way of living when your mindset changes. Your choices begin to change when your choices change. Your habits begin to change when your habits change. Your future begins to change, not because of one dramatic moment, but because of thousands of intentional ones. So here's a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, track how you spend your time. Every hour, write it down. Be completely honest with yourself. Don't do it to feel guilty. Don't do it to criticize yourself. Simply observe. Notice where your attention goes. Notice what gives you energy. Notice what drains it. Notice what moves you closer to the life you want and what quietly pulls you away from it. Because awareness always comes before transformation. You can't change what you're unwilling to see. And you may discover something surprising. You may realize you've had enough time all along. You simply weren't spending it intentionally. One day, today will become a memory. This very moment will become part of your story. The question isn't whether time is passing. It is. The question is, what are you building with it? Because every minute you invest in learning becomes wisdom. Every minute you invest in your health becomes strength. Every minute you invest in your relationships becomes connection. Every minute you invest in your dreams becomes possibility. And every minute you spend living with intention becomes the foundation of the person you're becoming. Your future isn't waiting for you somewhere down the road. It's quietly being built. 1 minute, one choice, one day at a time. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until life feels easier. Don't wait until you feel completely ready. Start today. Because today, it's all any of us have ever truly been given. If this message encouraged you, I'd love for you to become part of this community. Here at Mindset, Momentum, and Intention, we're committed to growth, abundance, positivity, and helping one another become the best version of ourselves. If you find value in today's message, consider subscribing so that you don't miss the next chapter in the Time Advantage series. And if you would like to support the work that goes into creating these videos, you can do so through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Whether you subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, or simply spend these next few moments reflecting on how you used your time, thank you for being here. It truly means more than you know. Now, before you go, protect your peace, believe in your future, move with intention, build momentum, and remember this: mindset shapes you, momentum moves you, intention guides you, because your future isn't created someday. It's been created today, one intentional moment at a time.